Let's talk about Zscaler. There was a person who's kind of a notorious person on breach forums that posted, hey, I have access to one of the largest security companies. And also, here's the things I have. And it was just a list of like very nebulous things like, oh, I have customer lists.
The evidence that the adversary was posting wasn't even really great evidence.
Right now, Zscaler is just reiterating continuously that there's no compromise, there's no impact. I don't think there's any like hard details yet, but it sounds like it was a test environment, but it's still valuable as a, potential launch point. I mean, we know from Microsoft, test environments aren't always test environments. We kind of covered the Okta stuff from the very beginning when it came out, and it kind of has gotten progressively worse.
How much of it is that as they dig deeper, they find more badness?
No, it's actually planned. There are absolutely conversations that are happening where they're like, what's the best way to release this data publicly? And this is a masterclass for anyone that's dealing with an incident and wants to go to the news and seem like you're being open about it.
To distill it down, let's make a quick bullet point guide for, so you've been breached and you're a CISO. Step 1, minimize the breach. Step 2, distract. Name other companies that have been breached and see if you can, get the interviewer to talk about them instead of your company. Step 3, throw in the words nation state and imply that you're being targeted by nation state actors, because as we know, that's a get out of jail free card. You can't defend against them, so there's nothing you can do. And step 4 is plug your new product and how you're doing better. And then you should be good.
Did they do that?
I don't know. I may have ad-libbed at the end.
There was an email that was leaked. Paula Bates' email was reportedly sent on April 20th. And basically was telling employees and agents in the FBI that it said, I urge everyone to continue to look for ways to appropriately use U.S. person queries to advance the mission, with the added confidence that this new pre-approval requirement will help ensure that those queries are fully compliant with the law. Good luck, FBI. I don't know how you spin this.
I guess it's like their job is to to follow the law as vaguely as they possibly can, right? Like that's like, I don't know, who would be surprised by this, right? It's like this is like the equivalent of Jeff Bezos's leaked email that says we got to figure out better tax evasion. I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, shocker. The rich are trying to avoid taxes. Like, yes, of course the FBI is trying to, a little loophole there. And I don't know.
The state of Maryland's privacy law. This law specifically prohibits selling sensitive data. And it's one of the first privacy laws that calls that out. The law was passed. It will go into effect in October of 2025. They're targeting it both ways, processing data as well as selling data. They're saying, as part of the legislation, provide a universal opt-out mechanism for customers. So if it's a browser extension or however the technology implements itself, or with people, make it easier for customers to get out of the business of being sold.
So it's almost like they're putting HIPAA level protections around a lot of this data around individuals, which I think would really solve a lot of the problems of your browsing history and all that would be considered like PII, PHI, and could not be sold.
I want to talk about hackers targeting the children of corporate executives. Ransomware attackers are targeting children's phones to extort big companies. Apparently, the attack, to get into the specifics, is SIM swap a chief executive's kid and then try to use that SIM swap to convince the chief to do something bad.
I just don't see how it would work. Work with me on this. It's like, okay, I get a text from my kid saying, Dad, I need your 2-factor authentication sent to me for your Okta portal. It's like, yeah, I'm going to call my son, right? Somebody calls me from my son's phone. I'm not going to be like, well, I better give this guy my user ID and password.
John, clearly you're not an effective executive yet. You got to be handing that stuff out to anyone that texts you.
Join us for live InfoSec news every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Black Hills InfoSec YouTube channel.